What's up, everybody? It's your boy Joshua Edwards, live from Brooklyn, New York. This is Panthers Pride Television. Look, we know that the Pro Bowl is going on. We know the Shrine Bowl is going on. All these other bowl games, the Reese Senior Bowl, the HBCU Legacy Bowl games are all upon us. But let's talk about the squad, man. Adam Thielen, man, the old man on the possibility of returning. Now, before I get to his exact quotes, I think that he should return. Like we saw last year, or we know as fans, Adam Thielen is God / heaven sent for the Carolina Panthers. He has been a major cornerstone in the development of Bryce Young. Like we saw him last season in Seattle with Andy Dalton. We saw him this prior season where he just opens up the field to another level with Bryce Young. We know Bryce Young can make all the tough throws, but Adam Thielen finds a way to always come down with the ball or is always separating, even at the ripe age of 34 years old. Now, Adam Thielen, when talked or asked will he return the 2025 NFL football season? Yeah, I think I still have some football left in me. I really believe in what they're doing. There is a lot to look forward to, especially with Bryce and his progression. Now, we know when he says what they're doing, he's talking about the Carolina Panthers front office. We know Dan Morgan has a plan for the Carolina Panthers, and I think Adam Thielen fits into the plan. Now, we got to go get some more help. He is the oldest receiver in the league. We cannot continue to depend on him and his old hamstrings, his old back, and his old muscles. I'm not saying that he's not a guy that can still produce for us, but we got to find some other talent. Jalen Coker has been a great addition through undrafted, and Xavier Legette has got to get into his bag. He's got to pull back on the interviews, pull back on talking, and more producing on the football field. But I think we got to find a way to retain Adam Thielen, man, especially if we're talking about we want to continue the progression of Bryce Young. Now, another older guy, Khalil Mack. Yes, Khalil Mack has been linked with the Carolina Panthers, man. There's been some other teams like the Atlanta Falcons, who we know needs a pass rusher, and the LA Chargers are thinking about bringing him back as well. But Khalil Mack, if you don't know who Khalil Mack is, you need to go do some research. He is the only guy in NFL history to be first-team All-Pro at two different positions in the same season. This was his stats this past season. 9 pass breakups, 39 total tackles, 2 forced fumbles, 6 tackles for losses, and 6 sacks. Now, the good thing about Khalil Mack is he's doing this all at an old age. So what would he look like if he was partnered up with, let's say, a Jadeveon Clowney or a Derrick Brown? Well, I'm glad you asked. Here is the numbers between him and Jadeveon Clowney. Jadeveon Clowney is 31 years old. Khalil Mack is 33. Who is the better player? It's Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack was doing this while Joey Bosa was not playing this prior season or was missing a lot of games. Jadeveon Clowney only played 14. 46 total tackles, 5.5 sacks, 9 tackles for losses. Here is his numbers ranked up against a 33-year-old. Now, I'm not saying that we need to break the bank for Khalil Mack. There have been discussions where he's saying he wants 2 years, or the estimated contract is 2 years, $40 million guaranteed. Man, hell no. I'm not saying that. But I do think we could find a situation where it's 2 years, $35 million contract, $30 million guaranteed. I do believe that. I do believe that he is a first ballot Hall of Famer. So when you line him up with D. Brown and he is across from Jadeveon Clowney, if we draft the guy, cut Clowney and bring in Khalil Mack, man, we're cooking. Now, I'm not saying that he is going to be Von Miller. I'm not saying he's going to put us in a position where we're winning the Super Bowl, or a DeMarcus Ware when he went to the Denver Broncos at the tail end of his career. But if you go and look at the pass rushers that we have signed at the tail end of their career, it's all Hall of Famers. Jared Allen, Kevin Green, We spun the block once again with Julius Peppers, his second coming up with the Panthers. Reggie White played for the Carolina Panthers. These guys are all Hall of Famers. Khalil Mack fits that whole cachet. Like I said, he's the only guy in NFL history to be first-team All-Pro at two different positions in the same season. He is truly a generational talent. He's on the 2010 NFL Hall of Fame team. This guy is a guy that's going to change or can change our defense instantly. He's better than Jadeveon Clowney at this age. So if we get him right now and he plays until he's 36, or hell, even if he only plays this season, I think that he upgrades our defense. You remember we were the worst team statistically in NFL history. He's not going to allow that. I know with the new coaching addition that that's not going to happen. So Khalil Mack, we got to go out there and we got to sign him. I'm not saying 2 years, $40 million. 2 years, $30 million fully guaranteed. We'll be all right. Now, Bryce Young. How impressive was Bryce Young to end his season? Let's hear exactly what the coach said. Dave Canales, when discussing the turnaround in Bryce Young's game, I got to give all the credit to Bryce, handling the way he did with maturity, attacking it. He took steps every week. Doing the work, finding the joy again. Now, the biggest thing with Bryce Young coming into this season was, can David Canales turn him around? Guys were comparing Bryce Young to Jamarcus Russell. Guys were literally out here saying he should be traded after we benched him in week 2. And to Dave Canales' part, Bryce Young went in there, he hung on, he put in the work, and now we are reaping the fruits of our labor. Bryce Young is the best quarterback in the NFC South. Debate me. He's better than Baker Mayfield. He's better than Michael Penix. He's better than Derek Carr. We know that we have a budding superstar in Bryce Young. And Dave Canales said that he really saw him turn around in the Broncos game. Yes, we got blown out in the Broncos game, but, man, he was making some fantastic throws and tight windows. I mean, once again, Xavier Legette dropping passes that could have changed the game. But we know what we got with Bryce Young. He was very impressive to close out the season. He was better statistically than C.J. Stroud the last 7 games of the NFL regular season. So Bryce Young is going to continue to elevate. Dave Canales, if you can find a way to get him some weapons, a guy that I might be talking about right next, if you can find him a way to get some more weapons, this guy is going to take another leap. He's going to get into a conversation where we're going to be competing for the NFC possibly championship, or at least in the divisional round. But George Pickens linked with the Carolina Panthers. Yes, there have been discussions about George Pickens possibly being traded to the Carolina Panthers. Now, if you remember, we have done business with the Pittsburgh Steelers. We shipped off Deontay Johnson, and we received we shipped off Dante Jackson, and we received Deontay Johnson in exchange. And there is situations or discussions where we could trade for George Pickens, grabbing another Steelers. This past season, he only played 14 games, 3 total touchdowns, 900 total receiving yards, 59 receptions, and he was a guy that was taking the top off, 15.3 yards per catch. Now, there have been talks about us moving our second rounder, which we have the 57th overall pick in the second round, and then trading our 4th round for George Pickens. Would I like to see a situation where we go grab George Pickens? Nah, man, I'm not even going to lie to you. I'm sorry, man. There's no way in hell I'm trading for George Pickens. We need to leave these receivers in Pittsburgh alone. I don't know what it was with Deontay Johnson, but he's literally playing himself out of the league. George Pickens, he is literally, man, he has all the talent in the world. Don't get me wrong. but he only has about 2 to 3 routes in his bag. He has a goal ball, a slant, maybe a jailbreak screen, and a hitch. He has no routes. He is literally known to take the top off of a defense. Yeah, we need that. Don't get me wrong, but I need other guys that's going to cause some separation. I'm not a big fan of you always making tough contested catches, because you know what that tells me? You're not getting open. Yes, Bryce Young can make the throw and throw you open, but I need you to cause some separation. I need you to get open. And it could be, there's been a lot of times where George Pickens has given up on routes. There's been a lot of times where George Pickens has caused a muddy picture for his quarterbacks, for the Russell Wilsons of the world, for Justin Fields, hell, for Kenny Pickett. Like, right now, I am not a fan of trading for Steelers receivers. I don't know what the hell they got going on in the locker room, but for some reason, their receivers are always on I don't know. They're just on a wild goose chase. George Pickens, Deontay Johnson, Juju Smith-Schuster, Chase Claypool, Antonio Brown, etc. And this is what they're allowing. I just don't see a situation where we give up a second rounder and a fourth rounder for George Pickens. Don't get me wrong, he does upgrade our receiver room, but what I want us to trade from, man, hell no. Let's go out here, draft, go out here, try to acquire a T. Higgins, and let's just continue just to move forward in the right directions and in the right direction as a Panther organization.